Bloody Mary Podcast.
Welcome to the Bloody Mary Podcast, where we talk about all things horror while drinking a Bloody Mary. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tami. And we are totally married. We got our Bloody Marys. And tonight we are doing a retro review on Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive. Yeah.
Are you excited?
I am. Before we get into it, we have
Yes.
an Amazon wish list.
We do.
We have merch. Go to our website, www.bloodymarypodcast.com. Help support us. We have some stuff on that Amazon wish list. Small things like Bloody Mary mixes, other small shit.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
There's a
like
lot of shit
DVDs,
on there.
Blu-rays. There's
Check it
stuff.
out.
There's stuff we need for like the podcast, new microphones, audio gear, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, if you want to support us, grab something like that. We'll give you a shout out here on the podcast.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
comment. Smash that thumbs up. Cool. Well, no, that's out of the way.
All right, let's get into it.
Maximum Overdrive. This
Yes.
movie, if you haven't seen it, spoilers, it's been out for like, what, many years.
Since 1986.
Since
So if you
1986.
haven't, if you don't know about it yet, spoilers.
Yeah. Go watch it and come on back. The movie is about a group of people that try to survive when machines start to come alive and become homicidal.
I love how
More
all-
specifically, semi-trucks.
Semi-trucks. Just, I mean, everything else, but like semi-trucks are really,
Yeah.
I was really waiting for someone to go, Autobots, roll out.
So stupid. So Maximum Overdrive, I grew up with. I watched this so many times on TV. This right here, if you're watching this VHS, is an original that I've had since I was young. So I bought this brand new in probably, I don't know, the early 90s or something. So I've had this with me forever. I've seen it many, many times. So this one's like near and dear to my heart.
Right.
When we watched it not too long ago, a week or so ago, it wasn't until that time where I like picked apart a little bit of the things and like
Right.
saw a couple of the flaws, which is strange. Like I think probably the last time before I saw it was, I don't know, 10 years ago that I sat down and watched it. This is
Mhm.
one that I'll have like playing on the background if I'm editing or stuff like that and don't really pay too much attention to, look over and see something cool. But
Right.
I think this was the first time I sat down in like a decade to watch it.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it it's been a while.
We-
And then we watched it with James because it was
Yeah.
Father's Day.
It was. And this was the film I chose to
That
watch
was the
for
Father's
Day.
I think him and I both got a kick out of it because I remember bits and pieces, but not
Yeah.
a lot. So it was funny to rewatch and remember more things.
So it wasn't as much of a part of your
No.
childhood and your as it is for me.
No.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of Maximum Overdrive?
I thought it was ridiculous and it's funny. Like we did a lot of laughing.
Yeah, it was funnier than I thought growing up.
Mhm.
There's a lot of humor in there, and there's a lot of things that you can pick apart for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like why. So the whole thing is like a comet's over the Earth, and it's taking over all the machines in the world.
Yeah.
And it's selective because there's a couple of vehicles that just don't,
That were totally
people are
fine.
driving that are fine.
Yeah.
Why are only semi trucks coming to this, and a couple of other ones, but why not just other vehicles?
Right. There's no cars. There's just semi trucks.
Yeah. So
It's
like
like
there's
8.
so many things you could like, if you really want to pick apart this movie, you can, but that's really not the fun of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It just opens with like the bank sign being like, "Hey, assholes,
Yeah,
fuck you."
And also, they don't just take over vehicles; they insult the shit out of people. That's how
I
it
lo-
starts. With Stephen King was the first like line in the movie. It was like, "Honey, this machine called me an asshole."
What the fuck?
There's like the bank is like saying "fuck you." And,
I know,
And
I
then
like-
it starts like killing people. Like so, the aliens come to Earth and they say "fuck you."
Fuck you, humans.
You asshole, and then they just start murdering people. Like so, what was so here's something to think about and to ponder. Is this a malicious and planned attack by this comet or this because at the end they say there was a UFO they found too.
Right.
So was this a planned and controlled attack, or was just this like a blanket thing where a magical kind of AI dust got dropped, and like they just came alive, and each one had their own personality.
Oh, I think it's that. I think each one kind of had their own personality, and all the machines just hate us.
Yeah.
They just innately hate us. And then they got that magic comet dust. And then they were like, oh, fuck you, assholes. Fuck you. I'm going to kill all of you because you're jerks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really silly. I couldn't tell you either way because there were small things like, the electric carving knife comes alive. So is that just like, I don't know.
It came alive and tried to kill her because she's just a bitch. And it was like, every single day you use me, you're just rude and you just toss me around. Yeah. And it was its chance to exact its revenge by cutting her multiple ways.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think she was a bitch. I'm
just saying from the perspective of the electric knife.
Oh.
It attacked her because she was just a bitch shit. I don't know. Just tosses it around, throws it on the counter.
That's just silly.
It is just silly, but as is the whole fucking movie.
This is Stephen King's first and only time directing a film.
Yes.
And we both like dove a little bit onto the
trivia
trials and tribulations of making the movie, and one of the funniest quotes is just he is coked out through the whole thing.
Which makes total sense. Once you hear that and then watch the movie, you're like, totally, I can see that.
I listened to clips from a podcast I think he did with Mick Garris about this film, and Stephen King said that he knew nothing about filmmaking. And he learned like the absolute basics on the set of like just coverage over the shoulder and wides and just how that works, which is so nutty. Cause like I learned that like on my own, just learning film stuff. And he learns this thrown into a big legit production.
Right.
And also he said the majority of the crew members were French and there was a language barrier, and his translator didn't really do a good job too. So you have layers upon layers of just like things that could go wrong. But the end result is just such a fun mixed bag of just ridiculousness that just don't take it seriously and sit back and watch it.
Yeah.
And there's so many fun lines, so many goofy characters, just things that come out of left field.
Connie is my favorite character, aka Lisa Simpson.
Yeah, the
voice of Lisa Simpson.
Lisa Simpson. Yeardley something.
Yeardley
Smith. Yep,
was amazing.
She was really great. Like, when I was growing up, of course, my favorite character was Emilio Estevez because he's a star and he's
Billy.
That guy. But watching it as an adult, my favorite characters are those two, Yeardley Smith and John Short, Connie and Curtis.
And
Curtis. and they're like legitimately the most flushed out characters in the film. Like nobody has any character arcs or any character.
No.
Except for, I think the biggest arc is Curtis, because you kind of think of him as like a dorky dude who just got married. And then he, at the end of it, he's carrying a gun and he's like Emilio's right-hand guy.
Yeah, he's the right-hand man.
Yeah, so he starts as a nerd and then he
he loses his shirt and he just ends up with a wife beater and he's fucking Ramboing it up. He's ready to go.
So Curtis had the best arc in the whole film.
I like Curtis. Are you dead?
Yeah, that's the best.
Curtis, are you dead?
Yeah, like the answer.
And then when she gets the wheel and she's driving like a crazy person, which she should have been in the situation, and he's just like, and she's just all over the place hauling ass.
Oh yeah.
And then when he drives, he's like, okay, I'm going to go through that opening right there. And she's like, are you serious? And he goes like 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, Curtis, did you not witness what's happening right now?
Yeah, those two were really fun.
They were so funny.
Yeah, those two were funny. The owner was good too. He'd call everyone Bubba.
Call everyone Bubba?
Yep.
Hey, Bubba.
He had some really good lines too. Like, I think the one was, fucked if I know, Bubba. Fucked if I know. And he had a lot of good ones. There's something like, you're like goddamn rats in a shit house. Like, he's a good character.
He was a douche canoe, but a good character.
Oh, for sure.
I like how he just all of a sudden comes out with like a rocket launcher.
That was probably my second favorite scene or sequence in the film. Is like it's when Curtis and Connie
Yeah.
they're going towards the
So they're shooting in. They're not shooting in.
Yeah,
He's going like 20 miles an hour.
they're driving through a whole bunch of semi trucks. They have to find an opening because they're circling the
Right.
place. They drive into it. They crash and flip over. They run out and they try to save him. And then he shows up with a rocket launcher out of nowhere and starts blowing up semis. And he's like, "Wee-hoo!"
And they're like, what the where the fuck did you get that? And he was like, don't worry about it, Bubba.
Yeah. You have a rocket launcher this whole time? And then the other guy's like, yeah, we got a whole bunch of you. Shut your
his
mouth. Yeah. It's really funny.
And then you go into the basement and there's just guns and fucking rocket launchers and grenades.
I just
and
love
all
that
sorts
he
of shit.
shows up out of nowhere with a fucking rocket launcher and his other guy, Bubba, he calls everyone Bubba, is just sitting there with other rockets ready to load up again. Like they've done this before. like they work as a military unit that has done this many times.
I know.
They're so smooth and efficient. It's ridiculous.
It is. And really, they're just working at a truck stop.
Yeah. And he had great aim.
Right. He did.
From the hip, with the
hip,
cigar,
everything.
being old. And yeah, it was
spot on
It was
with that.
great. It was great.
I love that the ringleader of the toned down Autobots,
Yeah.
because they didn't get to morph for anything. They just stayed in truck form. Was a Green Goblin.
Yeah. The
Toy truck.
Green Goblin from Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an iconic look. If I'm not mistaken, I think they restored that. In
Yeah,
real
it
life.
was when I was reading the trivia, like it was burnt obviously because of the end of the movie, and then it was in a junkyard and some guy found it and then restored it in
that's
like
super cool.
2011.
Yeah. Like if I did that, I'd drive to horror conventions all over the place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what I do. Hell yeah.
That's probably what he does.
Yeah, probably. The soundtrack is all AC/DC, which is cool.
Which is super rad.
It is.
That is not what because I didn't remember that. So Liv's like, oh, soundtrack AC/DC. What?
Yeah.
Like every time.
Even says it right on the VHS cover. Music by AC/DC, starring
I know.
Emilio Estevez.
So
Yeah.
what do you think of the opening scene where people are getting killed by cans and a kid's getting ran over by a steamroller?
The opening scene is
kill-
the bridge.
Not the bridge, but like not the big kill scene. The first big kill with the kids doing the baseball scene, and then the cans, and then the steamroller rolls over.
Yeah, those are two of my favorite kills in the movie. Are the soda machine kill, which is really awesome at the baseball field,
Mhm.
and then
Coach.
the kid getting ran over by a steamroller, which when we watched it, we all just kind of cheered and clapped. It was just a lot of fun. My favorite sequence and scene in the whole film is when the kid's biking down the street and you get to see the aftermath of what the machines did. Like
Right.
he looks over.
There's just dead people.
Yeah. He looks over and someone's like ran over by a lawnmower, and the one you're not expecting, you look over and there's like a dead dog with like a toy car in its mouth. Like you look up and like some chick's like hair dryers strangled her.
And she's hanging out the window.
Yeah. That whole sequence was a lot of fun. Yeah. What were your favorite kills or moments in the movie?
I liked that one. And then with the sprinklers like going off, and then he turns around and the sprinklers all turn off. And he's got a really good, he didn't say anything really, just he was really good at emoting through his face, being like,
yeah,
what the
he was
fuck?
really good. He didn't have many lines, but he was good at just reacting.
Yeah.
Mm.
I would say just the beginning where we get introduced to Connie and Curtis. I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
Curtis, Curtis, are you dead? I don't know why that makes me laugh so much, but it does.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint I have about this entire movie, the one thing I hated about the whole thing, is after Emilio Estevez and Billy and the Brett girl that comes in after she's hitchhiking with that Bible salesman. They like bang, and then he wipes her forehead off and then licks and then sucks on his fingers, and that's fucking weird and gross, and don't ever do that.
You know
That bothers me so much that the whole entire movie is fine for that tiny moment.
I rewatched that scene, and and he's like, it looks like he's actually grooming her. Like, so they're embracing, and then he's like petting her forehead. And what I think, because he does a double, he like does that and then goes, and then the wipes. I think he did like the mom spit thing almost. You know what I think happened? I think that was like a real moment. I think that they were actually there, and I bet you anything she had something on her head, and he's probably like, oh, let me just.
Well,
and then it was like, okay, action, but they actually shot, and that's what they used.
Well, it bothered me a lot. It really did.
Yeah,
it really
it was
did.
weird. It was weird that he like wiped her forehead and then licked it.
And then why like?
Oh, maybe he'd make like
just none of the above. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I love the taste of sweat and Aquanet. Like what? Like,
yeah. Well, you just add a
No.
scene where like some cocaine falls on her head and then he like licks it off.
Okay,
That's
sure.
better. That's better.
But like,
yeah,
none of that happened.
yeah, no, that was pretty strange.
All you get is cut to them
Yeah.
post banging and him wiping. And no, just I can't.
One thing I do think, and I read up that a lot of stuff was cut out because it was way too gory, but I think a lot more was cut out because there's some scenes, especially like with Emilio and the lady, where it just seems like there should have been a lot more dialogue or character development, and there probably was. There was like one thing in particular where they were together and then one scene happened and the next scene is like them again, and they kind of act like they hadn't seen each other in a while.
Right. It's like, oh, hey, baby. Like, it was
Yeah.
very like, oh, we're dating now, or we dated. And it was very that.
So I think there's some
That
stuff
escalated quickly.
missing there. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is still fun and nostalgic for me.
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
Mm.
And I like how when the truck's like, we're out of gas, and they need them to fill every truck semi coming with gas, and then just this little I don't even know, machine gun on a little trolley like pulls up and it's like, do as I say or I'll kill you. And they all knew like what it meant.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And then they're out there for like all day and night just filling up every semi in the country that's coming through, and they're like, we're out of gas, we don't have any more.
Yeah.
And then the gas truck rolls up like, and then she comes out to get Emilio Estevez, and he looks like he's ran a marathon for 5 days.
Yeah.
And he can't even stand up, all because he is filling trucks up
It's hot out there.
in the heat.
It's hot out there in the heat. Yeah, I mean, picking apart stuff like why did they need to be gassed up or wanted to be like what were they gonna go do?
Right. What were they gonna go do?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, if they wanted to kill them, they would just kill them all.
Right. Everyone just go to a truck stop in Wilmington, North Carolina.
So like,
this is where all the gas
what
is.
was their end destination?
I don't know.
Like, why did they want to be filled up, or were they just torturing the people?
I think they might have been just torturing them too.
I don't know.
For the fun of it. I don't know. The semi trucks are assholes, apparently.
Yeah.
They are just fucking assholes.
Yeah. You know what? After watching it, I was like, I would remake this. I think
That would be fun to remake.
Or if not me, I do think that Maximum Overdrive, if you do it really well and tongue in cheek, is ripe for a remake.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could have fun with modern technology, modern cars, Teslas.
Because fucking everything's electronics now.
Yeah, everything, your phones.
The world would crash.
I mean, you could do something silly where they want to pull up to the charging station and be like, sorry, this is going to take you all day.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be a really fun remake. I think you could have a lot of fun with that, develop the characters more.
You know what other scene sticks out is like he was like taking a nap, and then he comes out in the bright green shirt and he's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Just like
that made no sense.
It made no sense. He looked like he was just plastered too. Like, what the fuck?
Well, you had this whole group of guys that were just drinking, and I think Miller was like a sponsor because they were only drinking Miller. But there's this whole group of guys that are just drinking through this whole thing and hanging out in the background while everyone else does stuff. And so that guy was hungover because there was some rigmarole happening, and he comes out, what's going on? I'm hungover. And yeah, that was really strange.
It was. the whole thing. But it was silly. But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really like it.
And I like how they escape on the boat, but the boat didn't give them any troubles.
Yeah, that was strange too. It was very selective.
It
like
was
I
very
said.
selective.
Like
but
unless it was just a pure sailboat, but
you still have to have the motor to like
not really.
get out of the harbor, don't you? I don't really know how boats work.
You just push it and you go, or you just have Emilio back there with his feet kicking in the water. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's pretty silly. And that one actor, I think this was his first film or close to it. I forget his name, but he was the black guy to die in the beginning in the arcade area.
Oh yeah, when all the games and he's just cigarettes are popping out. And
I can never remember his name, but he was the dude, the chicken dude in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's in freaking everything now. What the hell's his name? I'm not gonna find it. Esposito.
I don't know.
Yeah, I forget it.
Another character, the waitress, the Wanda June is her name. Wanda June. When she just keeps like coming out and be like, "We made you.
Yeah.
What are you doing? We made you."
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. They've taken over.
Yeah.
Alien dust, comet dust, what the fuck ever. And she's just out there screaming. And then they're like, "Get back in here, dude." And she's like, "No, because I'm going to scream at them and it's going to be fine." And then she gets killed by a machine gun.
Yeah.
Screaming, "We made you," after she banged the boss.
Yeah. She was a good character.
She was.
But
She was
yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
Just like her hysterics, like nothing else. She just spent like 5 minutes screaming, "We made you.
Mm-hmm.
We made you."
Yeah. This would probably be, if we're ever ranking, that would be a task like all of Stephen King's films. It would be on the higher end for me.
I think so,
For
just because
sure.
it's fun.
Yeah. Well, what do you give this? How many Bloody Marys do you give this out of 10? What's your rating?
Out of 10?
Yeah. Yes, out of 10.
I'm going to say 7.
You know the ranking we always do.
I know.
7.
I'm going to say 7 because we just had a lot of fun and we laughed.
Yeah.
And it was just entertaining. It's ridiculous and silly and
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna give it just a really fun 6.
a really fun 6.
Yeah, even though
not a boring 6.
no,
but
not
a really
a boring
fun
6, not like a boring above average, but a really fun above average film. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I've seen this many times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna give it a
I don't
7.
think it would make my top 50 horror films of all time.
No.
Maybe top 100. It would probably be on there.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I don't know.
Were there any scary moments for you?
None.
None.
There was no night swim.
None at all.
There was no pool in Scary Ghost, so none.
Yeah. When I was a kid, the one that scared me was when he got the gasoline in his eyes, and I think it was mostly because too the music they played with it was like wee 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 wee. So as a kid, that was disturbing, and also what scared me as a kid was when the preacher popped up in the
bushes,
in the ditch and grabbed the kid. That scared me. But those are both kind of like jump scares. But no, yeah, absolutely nothing in that is scary.
No.
Yeah.
None.
Cool. Well,
but it was a lot of fun, and also just experience the 3 of us watching it for Father's Day and just laughing.
That was cool.
Yeah, and also we are married for 5 years tomorrow. So
yes, we are.
This is our happy anniversary.
This is our anniversary podcast, 5-year anniversary podcast, Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a connection. Curtis and what's her name?
Yeah, they just got
married in there. So there we go. That's why we chose that for today.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not just because we watched it and we wanted to do it.
Have you guys seen Maximum Overdrive? What did you think of it? Do you think it's a classic? Do you think it's pretty silly? Do you think it's stupid? Do you think it rocks?
What was your favorite part? Your favorite character?
Yeah.
Did you love Connie as much as I did?
Yeah. Well, I know I just want to be coked out of my mind and make a movie with some French people and blow shit up and see what happens. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. But
all right. All right.
Cool.
Well, our Bloody Marys are dead.
So are we.
Drink in moderation. Bye-bye, guys.